Hello everyone, welcome back to Garden Fever. Try and make this a quick video. I got everybody out in my neighborhood doing yard work, so it's kind of loud. And I've had sound issues because I don't have a mic, which I'm going to invest in the future. So anyway, let's get right to it. I'll try and speak loud. I wanted to do a video on chives. Chives are an awesome herb. I love them a lot. In fact, they're one of the herbs in which I use the most in all of my recipes and my food. There's two main types of chives. One's the common chive and one's the garlic chive that you'll come across. And one's a little bit more cold-hardy than the other. One has a little bit more of an onion flavor where the other has a little bit of a garlic flavor. The garlic one is also known as the Chinese chive. And the main difference between the two, other than a little bit of the flavoring, so I'll try and show you, is the common chive. Let's see if we can see that. Yeah, see there's a tube. It's hollow on the inside, where the garlic chive is like a blade of grass. It's not hollow. It's like a real soft blade of grass. They both are awesome. I love them. I love chives. They're very nutrient. And one thing a lot of people don't know is the flowers that they bloom are also edible. They'll bloom like it's like a purplish pink and sometimes even white flower. They have a lifespan of about 5 years. That's each individual seed. So you don't really need to worry about that. And we'll get into the reasons why, but I planted these about 3-4 years ago. And I basically just take scissors and cut them and then just chop them up in my omelets and my hash browns and my baked potatoes, on steaks. I mean, absolutely love this herb. It's such a nice amount of flavor when you're adding it to cooking. And there are health benefits and a lot of good benefits to it too. It's in the allium family, which is like bunching onions, garlic, shallots, that kind of thing. They're like a miniature onion basically. And what I do is I put them in a pot, because then I can move them around and they're close to my kitchen rather than having them in place in the garden, because they can kind of be evasive and they're kind of hard to distinguish sometimes, like the garlic one between grass. So sometimes I'll accidentally yank them, but by keeping them all in a pot, I know exactly where they are and where and when and blah blah blah. But anyway, just some information about them. They lean on the colder side of plants, so they're hardy perennials in zones, the common one in zones 2B to 9, where the garlic one's a little less cold resistant, so it's about zones 4 to 9. Any hotter than that, you'll struggle a little bit, and any colder than 4 and 2, you'll have to mulch or make special arrangements to overwinter them. In some places, in like zone 7 and 6, well, some 6, 5, you'll probably not evergreen them, or they won't be evergreens, but 7 and 8 on warmer winters, they're actually an evergreen where they'll stay green year round. Most of them will die back into the roots and go dormant for the winter, and come spring they just flourish again. And all I do is cut them with like a flat top and then just scissor them up into my stuff. But the common one, if you plant it in the ground, will grow to be about 1 foot, whereas the garlic ones will get a little bigger and they'll get to be about 2 feet. So, you know, roughly. They both take full sun. They can grow in partial shade, but they definitely do better in full sun. They're drought tolerant. The soil for the expert gardener is between 6.0 to 7.0. However, they'll grow in almost anything. I mean, maybe not straight sand and a few other things, but I've had them in clay soil, loose and loomy. You know, I've never even tested the soils that I've put them in. So they're a very hardy plant, and they're full of nutrients too. They're actually ranked 14th in the plant density category, which is not too bad for how small they are. They're not heavy in calories, so they're not going to fill you up. They're not going to give you a full sensation, but they will give you vitamins and minerals. And an example of that, of the vitamins, is they got A, B, C, D, E, K, thiamine, riboflavin, niacin, B6, B12, and a couple others. Those are just the ones I can remember off the top of my head. And then minerals, I got calcium, iron, magnesium, phosphorus, potassium, sodium, zinc, copper. So they're a good little healthy little herb, and they're so flavorful. I can't stress enough how adding these to recipes to increase the flavor is just, they're just wonderful. I love them. So I wouldn't worry about spacing. I've seen a lot of videos where they're like, you know, you plant them here in this space this much. You don't really need to do that. That's all a lot of extra work for an unnecessary plant. Let it go to seed and just clip the flower and shake the flower seeds into the pot, and they'll just return over and over year after year. As long as you don't yank them all out and pull out the root system with them when you harvest them, they'll return. They'll come back. And you don't really need to. They're not known for, like with bunching onions where you eat the bulb, or shallots where you eat the bulb mainly, and then you kind of cut up the greens as scallions or whatever. You just cut the greens and trim them, and then by doing that, it's like hair. It just grows back, and then you cut it again, and then it grows back, and you cut it again, and that'll go from. I mean, I first started seeing chives here in northern Utah, zone 6, around February. I started seeing them poke out of the pots, and it'll go all the way till November. So I mean, all that time I have unlimited flavors. You know, one warning that I don't see on a lot of the videos that I did want to tell you guys is I have them in 2 separate pots in 2 different parts of my yard, because they can cross-pollinate. If you plant the original plants, like these are originally planted, if I were to have them next to each other and they were to cross-pollinate, the original plants are going to stay with the garlic flavor and the onion flavor, and that won't change. But what will happen is as they cross-pollinate, the seeds that I re-put into the ground, the new plants that come up are going to be a mixture between the two. So that is something to be mindful of. However, shallots, chives, you might not be too concerned about it. Onions, like onion, garlic flavor, you know, I mean, they're kind of in the same category, and if you have a hybrid that's kind of a mixture of the two, I still think they would taste great and be awesome. So anyway, I wanted to do a quick video on chives. I really love chives. I encourage everybody to grow them, just like bunching onions and some of the other easy ones. These are so easy. Find a pot, put them next to your kitchen or in your windowsill. Get them growing. Once they're established, you have never-ending supply of them. And it's a green. It's such a great flavor. I love adding them to baked potatoes and into my hash browns. I can't stress enough how good they are. If you don't like the onion side, then get the garlic side of it, and vice versa. And then if you just hate garlic and onions, well, then they're not meant for you. But anyway, they will attract bees, which is another thing. The flower will attract bees. I encourage everybody to grow them. Let me see, I think that about covers it. If I've forgotten anything, just leave, and you know something about them that I don't, leave them in the comments or email me, and I'll put it in the description. Like, share, subscribe. Thank you for watching Garden Fever. Until the next video.